first interviews tonight is Andrew Muhlhan, who has a long history with the Stonnington Gift and running in general. Andrew, how did it all start?
Where did it start? Oh, look, my running career started in the early 1990s as a young boy playing footy and keeping fit in the summer. I used to come to the Prahran Gift as a competitor. I was lucky enough to run in a final here in 2000. I think it was the last event here, and shoot forward 10 or 11 years, and I was coaching some athletes, and we were training out here at Toorak Park on a beautiful oval to train on, and it was late in the summer, and as we were training, a guy came over to us. And he said, and I thought to myself, this is going to be interesting. He's going to tell us to get off this oval. It was so nice to run on. And his name was John Zarb, and he was the administration officer at the Prahran Cricket Club. And he said, "What are you doing? And what are you training for?" And we said, "The Stall Gift." And he said, "Wow, that's amazing." And lo and behold, his next words were, "How do we put one on here?" And that was in 2010, and that's where it started. A committee was developed and sponsors were sought, and we're in our 6th year now and we haven't looked back.
No, it's certainly a sensational venue. I mean, looking at it now, it's starting to drizzle slightly, but the venue is fantastic, and with the new lights.
Yeah, the time and effort that's put into the track is really probably the standout feature of the Stonnington Gift. I mean, there's great prize money, equal prize money for men and women, but the track is amazing. The curators here, it's like they're preparing a cricket pitch, but the time and effort they put into this track, and the new lights as well bring the track up quite nicely, and the athletes love to run here.
And of course, it is a form guide too, isn't it, for stall? You mentioned stall, but it can be a bit of a form guide.
Yeah, absolutely. Last couple of years, there's been multiple finalists of the Stonnington Gift have gone on to make the Stall Gift final. So it is a form guide for the Stall Gift. So 2016 Stall Gift, almost guaranteed that a couple of the finalists will be competing in the final tonight.
And it's great that the council is right behind the event.
Yeah, they have. They got on in our first year, and they haven't looked back either. It's been a joining of a number of the sports groups here at Toorak Park, and through the Stonnington Gift, they've drawn them together, and they've been able to upgrade some of the facilities. Like we've got new lights here this year, and the oval's always looking good. And yeah, thanks to the City of Stonnington for their effort over the years and their kind sponsorship and in-kind support with the curators on the track. And the Stonnington Gift is the premier sporting event in the City of Stonnington.
And of course you're spreading the message now in New South Wales.
Yes, lucky enough I cut my teeth on the Stonnington Gift, learnt the business of running an event, an athletics event, and ended up in Sydney 2 years ago and organised 20 events up there with the New South Wales Professional Track League.
And the Stonnington Gift goes from strength to strength, mainly through fellas like yourself, although you won't accept any of the credit, but you've done a wonderful job.
Look, Peter Norman is the chairman of the committee, and look, I think without him over the last 5 or 6 years, his connection with local businesses, local people, council, Bendigo Bank, he's really the one to credit for really drawing it together. I'm a part player, and Phil Williamson and John Zarb over the years, the whole of the Prahran Cricket Club as well.
Andrew, all the very best to you, and good luck for the rest of the meet, but also for the Stonnington Gift for the future.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me.
Well, talking to John Henry now, who's been associated with this event for many, many years. I'm not going to go back and say how long, John, but you're a place getter back in the day. When it was the Prahran Gift.
Yeah, back in 1970 and 1972 I ran third here. The first year it was still 130 yards, and then the second year was 100, but or 120 metres.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been coming here since year one.
Well, it must do your heart good to see the event kicking on as it is again as the Stonnington Gift.
Oh, that's right. It's a very good meeting. The prize money is very good. The runners like running here. The only drawback I think it's got is the bloody traffic on a Friday night.
And a little bit of
drizzle. A little bit of drizzle, that's nothing, no.
No, it's very good. And of course, you're now involved in the bookmaking side of things, but looking at the fields tonight, and as Andrew was saying, it's virtually a dress rehearsal in many ways for stall.
Well, it is. You'll probably find that the ones that run well here and don't win it will probably run well at stall, remembering that they go from 100 metres up to 120 metres at stall. But having said that, it's still very good money, especially for the girls.
Well, that 20 metres, is it like playing an 18-hole or a 72-hole golf tournament? It's the last 18 holes that find you out. But as you say, you kick it up to 120 metres. Is that the telling of the tale in many cases?
Well, I can't relate to playing golf because I was that bad at playing golf. I was shitty on the world. So. But, yeah, there's some runners that are very... can get the 100 and can't get the 120. You can train up to get the 120, but it's not easy. It's even some of the good amateur runners that run the 100. You can get runners who can run 100, good 100, maybe a good 200, but for some reason they can't just get that 120.
What about the training aspect? I mean, you talk about training up to make the 120 as opposed to the 100. Now, is there a difference in the training technique?
Not really. Oh, I'm just listening. Not really, but see, most of my stable, they can all run 400. So I train them up to run 400s too. So they can run 400s, 300s, 200s. Along the way, they can get good 120s. There's one equalising factor in the pros.
In the final heat number 9,
to win a good race, one of the good ones, a couple of things have got to happen. You've got to have the right mark, and at that time you've got to be running well. When the two come together, you'll win the race. One of them aren't right, you can't win.
What about the pro scene these days?
It's very strong. There's probably when I first started running back in the early 60s, there was over 1,000 registered runners just in Victoria alone, registered pros. These days there's probably about 600. But having said that, there's probably a reason for that is that we race for a hell of a lot more money these days. But having said that, it was probably the kids didn't have as many choices back then as what they got now. And the hardest part is getting them out of the house and sitting on the bloody computers and get them out doing a bit of work.
Well, it's great to see the youngsters here tonight, and the little athletics kicking on, but it's great to see the kids coming through. Looking at the faces, they're all very youthful.
Yeah, well, see, they've started in the last couple of years starting to be able to run on the pro circuit at 14, and they put on the younger races for them. Like I train a young girl who just turned 15 about 6 weeks ago. She's run the third fastest time here tonight in the heat, in the 100 metres.
Is that the girl or the coach?
No, it's the girl. I just wind them up and aim them.
John, thanks for speaking with us tonight. All
Okay,
the very
Brian.
best for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, mate.
Fine.
Catch
Thanks,
you later.
John. John Henry, ladies and gentlemen. We're now talking to David Jones, who's president of the Prahran Cricket Club. David, as one of the major supporters of the Stonnington Gift, you must do your heart proud to see the fields that are here tonight.
Brian, it's just magnificent to see how much it's evolved in the 5 years. Today I met a fellow from Japan who is a bronze medalist in the Olympics for the 100 metres. So people of that calibre are coming out to run in this event, which is just fantastic.
And talking to Andrew before, it's virtually a dress rehearsal these days, almost for stall.
Apparently this is rated by the athletes now as the second to stall, and they're now favouring it coming here because apparently the athletics people tell us it's well done.
I was looking before at the ages of a lot of the competitors. By gee, it's great to see them out there competing at that age and not hunched over computer terminals.
It's wonderful. I met a couple up at the gate earlier won with his dad, and I think the boy was 16 and had just won the Botany Bay gift, I think, and 16 years old, mind you. So it's wonderful to see the kids, isn't it?
So the future's in the very best of hands, or...
I think if we build it, they'll come, and what we've done here is not that I haven't done, but the committee has done, the Stonnington Gift Committee, has obviously been well regarded and rewarded with a great attendance.
I'm looking out the back there before, and I saw the David Mandy scoreboard, which is magnificent, and of course the lights, the new lighting system.
Well, the David Mandy scoreboard, he was a great supporter of our club and kept us alive in the dark days. Thus he was, we named the scoreboard after him. Last year I think we had 8 lux of lighting and 80 for the scoreboard. This year we've got about 300, I think. Right? So yeah, the David Mandy scoreboard is just fantastic.
And of course, as you say, David Mandy kept really the Prahran Cricket Club going, didn't he?
He did. Apparently the council in the dark days didn't want cricketers under that couple of councils and put the rent up about 4-fold. So David put his hand in his pocket, and although he didn't of course contribute to the scoreboard, the least we could do was say thank you. And his daughter Evelyn Danos, is still our patron, #1 patron.
I was looking in there before. I love looking at old photos of cricketers, and I see shots of Julian Weiner in there, but I also see Sam Loxton, who was the patron or patriarch virtually of the club back in the day.
Absolute genius. So Sam got 5 for 100 in the 54-5 premiership. He was a legend in this place. I think he was MLA for Prahran for many years.
He was.
Sam, and would always carry photographs of various things in his pocket, photographs of cricketers and what have you, and test your skills whenever he came down here.
Well, David, thanks for speaking with us. Great to see you, and it's great that an event like this is kicking on, the Stonnington Gift.
Thank you very much for talking to me, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, Peter Norman, Chairman of the Stonnington Gift Committee, we're crossing our fingers that Jupiter Pluvius or whoever upstairs...
Whoever, yes, indeed.
Yeah, but it must do your heart good to see an event like this once again. You've been chairman right the way through of the Stonnington Gift.
Yes.
And how does it feel?
Look, each year it gets bigger and better. The athletes support it more. We get more support from the sponsors. But like everything, it depends on the weather. And if we get a good night, a balmy night, we'll get twice as many people probably turn up to see the gift tonight, and that's the main thing we're looking for, to get more people through the gate to make this an even bigger event. Yeah.
Well, the calibre of the athletes that we've seen tonight are just fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah, we've got athletes from all over Australia, and several of them, Andrew was telling me earlier, over the last 3 years, several of them finished up in the semi-finals of the Stawell. So it's quality athletes that come for this. Well, we're offering a $10,000 prize cheque. I'd run hard for that.
As long as you didn't have to climb the stairs at the end of it.
As long as they gave me 75 metres start.
No, it's great to see, and it's great to see the youngsters coming through.
Yes. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we get the Camberwell Little Athletics as well before the start of the meet. It just keeps that junior athletics thing going all the way. Yep.
And it's great to see the parents with the kids.
Oh, well, that's right.
And they're so proud of seeing their kids.
Yep. Look, sport's the greatest thing in the community, and if we can just get more and more people involved in sport, whether it's athletics, cricket, tennis, it doesn't matter. Get involved in sport, not on your bloody iPads and iPhones. Yeah.
But getting out in fresh air.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very fresh tonight, yeah.
Well, Peter Norman, thanks for speaking with us, and must do your heart good to see an event like this once again.
Look, it does. We started 6 years ago. We didn't know if we were going to succeed or not. We thought we'd give it a try, and it's grown in stature over those years, and it'll continue to grow. Well past my time. Yeah.
Thanks indeed, Peter Norman, Chairman of the Stonnington Gift Committee.
Thanks, Brian.
Claude Ullin, as the Mayor of the City of Stonnington, it must do your heart good to see an event like this being held.
It certainly is. It's the 6th year that this event has been put on, and it's been a great success. It's grown each year, and we're very glad to be supporting it.
And of course, the support that the Stonnington Gift gives to the City of Stonnington must be fantastic.
Well, it is, This isn't the only event that we support, many sporting ones, and we think it's very good for young people to be involved in recreation, and the Stonnington Gift highlights that and brings people into the city and certainly helps us with many of our venues.
Well, I noticed the new lighting system too, which apparently is going to be fantastic. It's on now and it's illuminating the oval, and hopefully it'll enable you to use it for many other events.
Sure, we're very pleased about it. It's taken us some time to get these lights up, but now they have already proved to be very useful. Both the football clubs that use it are thrilled with it, and I think we had a night game of cricket here not so long ago because we're able to do that now. We can compete with the MCG or Etihad or any stadium.
Makes it more flexible for you. No, well, Claude, thank you very much for speaking with us. And as the Mayor of the City of Stonnington, I'm sure your heart is thumping too to see the event tonight.
I'll be looking very much forward to it, particularly the women's race, because we've, I think, created some history in athletics in providing an equal sum of money to be won by women.
Claude Ullin, thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Well, Paul Young, of course, very well known to running fans in Victoria. But you're in Adelaide now, Paul, but you had a fantastic run of success here in Melbourne and Victoria generally.
Yeah, I ran with, of course, Fergie Speakman, who trained 5 Stall Gift winners, and Fergie gave me the inclination to have a crack at the Stall Gift one year. So we waited in 1995. We had 1985. Sorry, we had a crack and won the Stall Gift, and then 6 years later, I was fortunate enough to come back and with my stablemate Steve Brimacombe won it, and I was able to run second, so that was good.
Well, you speak about Fergie, he was a legend in foot running, wasn't he?
Yeah, Fergie, well, certainly was. He had his first Stall Gift winner in 1932, and then he second in 57, so 25 years before his next one in 1957. That was Roy Barker and then Malcolm Durant. 1963, Johnny Bell. He had 4 winners that year at Stall 63, and then 1967 was Barry McLeod, and just as we all thought he might have been a bit too old and you're getting past it, although I didn't, but a lot of other people did, he was able to bob up and win the Stall Gift in 1985 with myself. Yeah.
What about the running scene now? I mean, you're in Adelaide now, you've got a stable over there.
Yeah.
How's it going in Adelaide compared to Victoria?
It's going well. We've got a lot of junior. We've introduced in the last few years under 14s, under 17s, under 20s, and we've got it's been an explosion of juniors in the ranks, and we've now got a junior Bay Sheffield to complement the actual Bay Sheffield, and we've been getting big entries in that, 6-7 heats of junior races, similar to what they've got here tonight with Stonnington. So as a consequence, our numbers have grown quite substantially. I think when I first went over there, we were probably in the 200s. Now we're in the 400s. It's almost double the number of runners we used to have. So. And then now graduating to the senior ranks, so it's been terrific. And especially the women. When I first started, we didn't have a lot of women runners, but now we're getting more heats of women's gifts than what we are the men, so it's been fantastic.
Well, the Bay Sheffield, of course, is well known here, much like Stall, and now Stonnington has come back after the Prahran Gift.
Yeah.
But you'd be pleased to see this sort of event.
Yeah, I am, because I won the Prahran Gift back in 1992, and I was second in 91, and sort of in those days the Prahran Gift wasn't a big race, but it wasn't a big race, so now it's really developed since it's come back in 2011, obviously a lot bigger now, so with a big prize money, so it didn't attract an interstate contingent many years ago. Now there's a big interstate contingent comes over, and I think if you look through the place getters in the last few years, I think 5 different states are represented in the place getters, whereas back in my day it was purely only a Victorian event.
Well, you brought up a very good point too about sponsors, and I think Peter mentioned it earlier in his speech, or the Mayor, Claude Ullin, that unless you've got the sponsors, it's very hard to run events. Yeah,
certainly. I mean, we're unfortunate in Adelaide. We don't have the amount of money. We don't have the economy to generate the sort of sponsorship they've got it tonight at Stonnington. We've got one major meet with the Bay Sheffield, and then we've got a Loxton Gift, which is sponsored by Nippies, which is obviously a local company up in the Loxton area. So that's in a couple of weeks' time. That's our second biggest race. But so we've got a lot of races in South Australia where we're only running for $300, $400, that sort of money. Whereas we don't have so that's why we do come over to Victoria quite often to have a crack at the Victorian major meetings.
pinch the prize money.
Yeah,
with
we've had
bit of luck.
we've had a bit of luck over the years. We've won a Bendigo 1000, and I had first and second in the Keeler Gift a few years ago, and I've had a second in the Stall Gift. I had a bloke run sixth a few years ago. We won the 70 at Stall last year with a guy, so haven't won the Stall Gift, but we've had a big success over the years. I think we won 5 races at Ballarat one year, so that was a good. We've had a fair return. It's been good fun.
And the future of pro running looks good.
It certainly does. I think the future of pro running is looking really bright. You only have to look at tonight. There's been there's a lot of good young talent. What the professional running leagues around Australia are doing at the moment, they're introducing younger athletes with younger races, and we don't. Years ago we didn't have we only had the novice events. We didn't have the underage events like we do today. I think you can go to Stall now and you see there's hundreds and hundreds of little athletic events on during on the Sunday. So I think they'll be able to tap into the youth and the young market, and as a consequence, I think it's years to come. We've got a lot of young kids coming through, and I think the future of the sport looks really good.
Paul Young, thanks for spending time with us tonight on this brisk Melbourne night. Coming from Adelaide, you wouldn't get much weather like this over there.
No. We've got Keeler tomorrow, then we go back to Adelaide on Sunday, and I think it's about 37 degrees for the Hectorville Carnival on Sunday afternoon in Adelaide. So it was going to be 39, it's been reduced to 37, so it's going to be a hot day on Sunday.
Paul Young, thanks for speaking with us.
Thanks, Brian.
Kendra, tonight wasn't your best night, but certainly a good night here at the Stonnington Gift.
Yeah, definitely. I would have loved to have been in that final in the women's gift, but it's such a great meet. The track's amazing. The effort that goes into it is really visible for everyone, I think. And the best part about it is the prize money, equal prize money for the women. So one of my favourite meets of the year.
Well, that is. And what are your aspirations from now? I mean, looking ahead. I mean, you can't look back anyhow, but looking ahead, what are your plans from now on?
Short term, still got a couple of races left for the rest of this season. We've got our state champs in Victoria next weekend, so we'd like to make a few finals there and hopefully pick up a few medals, and then nationals at the end of the season in Sydney. And then looking ahead in a couple of years, Gold Coast Commonwealth Games would be amazing, so plenty to work on between now and then, but yeah, it's going well.
What about Olympics? Have you got thoughts on the Olympics? Or?
Yeah, I think Rio is probably a bit close, but maybe 2020, but there's plenty of stepping stones between now and then, and the pro races are definitely great to get a few rounds in and race against some good competition.
Well, it's certainly changed a lot over the years, because years and years ago, near the twain shall meet. The pros and the amateurs were divided. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing that we can do both now. I mean, it's a little bit hard to race every single weekend, but when you can mix it between the amateurs and the pros and really get some good running in, it really works well.
What about support here? You're a local girl. What about support? Do you get enough support from, say, sponsors or the public?
I guess it's mostly through family and friends. So we sort of do a lot of it ourselves, but look, it's always amazing to come to a meet like this where it's local. As I said, you can see the effort that's gone into it. It's a really good turnout. The track's amazing, so that always keeps you going.
Well, after 6 years, it's really hit its straps, if you like. There was that lull between the Prahran Gift and what is now the Stonnington Gift. So obviously that's encouraging a lot of kids, perhaps, who watch you coming through and think, I can do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we saw some little ass races earlier on, and hopefully the women's numbers can keep growing. I think we had about 9 heats tonight, but the quality's always really impressive here, and you're going to get some hard racing in, and it's always a battle to win that $10,000.
Yes,
it's not an easy one.
That'd be a nice one to take home, but it's the old story, isn't it?
Yeah,
can
maybe
only be one winner.
Yeah, maybe next year. Made the final a couple of times, we've come close, but not to be this year.
So what happened tonight?
I think I was 4th in my semi-final. So, look, it was an okay run. Probably a little bit slower than my heat, so that's a little bit disappointing. But we'll just get back into training and try and work on those things so that next time I race we can fix them up. But yeah, it's really tough to make the final, which makes it probably more exciting when you get there.
Yeah, and of course you've had to prepare for each race in a different way. It's not.
Yeah.
And you look. What do you do? Size up the opposition before you start?
I try not to too much.
Yeah.
I sort of glance over who's in my heat or who's in my semi-final and think who's the person closest to me in front of me and try and get past them as quickly as I can. But know that really it's going to all happen towards the finish line. So you've got to keep working hard, keep racing through the line because the girl's always going to be hanging on at the end.
Well, Kendra, good luck. As you say, Rio's a little close, but good luck in Brisbane
Thank you.
whatever for the Olympic Games and your pro career.
Thank you very much.
Thanks indeed, Kendra. Hey, Anna, you've seen a heck of a lot in your number of years in
20
pro
years,
running.
yes, yes.
So what's been the main change that you've seen? I mean, you've had incredible success.
Yeah, I've had a lot of seconds, but yeah, a lot of success. Well, when I started the pro circuit in '97, I was an amateur runner, and it was women had only been running in the professional league for about 10 to 15 years, I think. So women were quite new to the professional running circuit when I started. And the first one I ran at was Stall, and we weren't allowed to run on the men's track. We had to run on the separate track, the 100-metre track, which is where the veterans run and the junior races. So
You're second-class citizens, really.
we were second-class citizens, and it's come a long way since then. So about 10 years ago, a bit over 10 years ago, we got promoted to the real Stall gift track, which we've been on ever since, thank goodness. And the prize money has gradually crept up from about $1,000 for winner up to about $6,000. And then last year, the great announcement that for 3 years Woolworths was supporting it and offering equal prize money for men and women.
Well, that's a hell of a change.
So $60,000 in total, of which I was lucky enough to come second.
So what are your plans from now? Just to keep running? You enjoy running, obviously, 20 years.
I do. I married a runner, so that helps. And I've got 3 kids who do little athletics, so again, that helps. I plan on keeping on going for as long as I can. I have a few injuries that have held me up in a few times, but no, running's something, I guess, when you marry a runner, you're going to be doing it for a while. You're not going to swap to ice skating, are you? So, yeah, no, we don't plan on giving up anytime soon. And in years to come, our kids will be out there doing the kids' races, because I think it's 15 you have to be, 14. So they're 9, 7, 8 and 6. Actually, one turns 8 today, but don't tell her. We made up it was yesterday, so we could be there for it.
Good on you. But what about the scene for women generally? It's obviously improved.
It's really exciting because, Stonnington was the first one to offer equal prize money, then came Stall last year, then joined Ballarat this year. So, I mean, it is looking really promising. Bendigo have offered more prize money for the women's 400 and made that as much of a prize money on offer as much as the men's, and just announced today was the women's 400 at Stall, which is my pet event, 400, equal prize money to the men's 400. So, the more that carnivals come on board, the more carnivals will come on board with equal prize money, which is great.
So the scene's looking good.
It is looking good, yes. And if you told me that 20 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you.
No, that's great that the equal prize money, and of course Stonnington have done a great job here with the equal prize money and with the sponsors and all the rest of it, and the Shire getting, or the council getting behind it.
Yeah.
Without that, and the lighting and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and because it is central Melbourne, it does draw a lot of amateur runners that, if it was a country town, well, I'm from Wangaratta, so, that only draws the real die-hard professional runners. Somewhere in Melbourne like this, and the one in Keilor tomorrow does draw a good crowd, which is really exciting. Crowd is in the runners and the crowd, everything.
Do you have a personal rival, or are you all rivals?
Well, I've come second 4 times, so I've got a few. With Kendra, I came second to Kendra one year.
Yeah.
Last year I came second to a 15-year-old who's now 16, Grace O'Dwyer, who's going to prove to be a great little runner. So my daughter, my 9-year-old, who's my eldest, thinks that everyone that beats me is my enemy. So I've got this whole list of enemies which aren't my enemies, because I've started to tell her that I actually do like these women or girls. But no, I don't have one particular one. I guess when you get to my age at 37, they're rivals, but they're also mates. They're not. Yeah. You don't despise the people you race against. You actually welcome them and support them. Yeah.
Do you have one particular rival that you like to beat?
There's a girl, Celia Cosgriff, in the 400, and Celia beat me 2 years ago, and I came second to her in the 400. And she's a little bit younger than me, but in her 30s, and she's a good one to beat, because she's a tough runner to beat. So when you beat Celia, you know you've done well.
Well, Anna, all the very best
Thank
to
you.
you. It's great to speak to you.
Yep.
You're a legend in
I don't know about that, but
in women's running, and
been around a long
athletics
time.
generally.
Yes, thank you.
But thanks indeed,
Great.
Anna
Thanks for
Pasquale.
having me.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.